And ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's going to be the last series of the afternoon. For the Win Esports versus the Canyons, two undefeated teams in the two powerhouses of their respective regions. If you just joined us, my name is Nelson A.C. Silva, and I'm proudly joined by Max Formal Von Newman to bring you all the action in and out of the Rocket League pitch and what could potentially be the series of the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Our two remaining undefeated teams about to throw down. Canyons from Spain for the win from Portugal. It's Spain versus Portugal. It's the best team currently from each region. This is kind of what that entire Iberian League is about. And maybe this could be a preview of that grand final. I still think, some teams probably might say otherwise, but where we stand right now, it's number one versus number one. They are tied, and I am keen to get in this one. But before we do, the other most exciting moment that I think, you watching at home, you didn't even know you're going to see, because it's the moment where we show off our Hot Wheel collections. Like, take a look at these bad boys.
We're actually going to do that. I thought you were going to see the Protoss ad. Cool.
No.
This is my merc truck.
Oh, you actually have that is pretty close. Actually, that's more like a Roadhog. Now that I look at it, that's more. Yeah, I think that's more Roadhog.
This one's the Chevy Avalanche. That was my blue car, and then I have the orange car. Look at that boy, huh? It goes shwoom, and
you have one for each team. I am incredibly jealous. See, I have like white team and silver team, and both of them are like they're kind of stock car-y shaped, so they're kind of more, I guess.
Mine are
almost dominancy, if anything. Anyways, actually, they're not dominance at all. I don't know. They're NASCAR cars. Oh yeah, actually that does look dominance. And I also have a convertible. If you can guess what movie this is from. Because it is from a movie. It's a little bit beaten up. I was mean to it as a kid, but if you can guess what movie this is from, you win a prize.
I cannot.
Well, I'm gonna let people try and guess it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you will get a prize. That's all I'm gonna say. Either way, I don't know what my prize will be. A shout out. Either way, though.
Is so bad. Why do we do this? All right. That being said, however, we're ready to go into our last series of the day. It's going to be great. The Canyons versus the For the Win. But before that, pros is do your thing, because I'm looking forward for the set. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Do your thing. Come on, Max. I know you want to do it.
I'm tired. I didn't mean to cut you off. My apologies. But here we are onto the pitch. Our final game of the afternoon, of the evening, or of the morning, depending where you're at in the world. Blue side is the Canyons. Orange side is For the Win. And we are already on the pitch.
Yes, we are. And already, you see For the Win being hyper-aggressive. Very uncharacteristic. I mean, not uncharacteristic considering what we saw yesterday, but it is fundamentally the Peep and Bruno show on the offense.
It has been the case. That was definitely the story yesterday. Peep in particular was stepping up and coming up huge. However, when you look at the Canyons, all of them can step up and be that difference maker. We've seen all of them have some pretty standout plays, and as mentioned before in some of our interviews, Canyons, in order to beat them, you have to take that fight to them. You have to have that strong offense to keep the pace with them. Having that good defense is not going to be enough. Stake at the moment, dropping the ball into the box, but Sack tries to clear through, is unable to make that mid-pitch line.
Zamuich tries to set up tries to reestablish an offense and Stake that manages to get the ball rolling into the center field. Tux goes in, but goes a little bit shy to the right of the box for the win. We're back on the offense now. Zamuich has no boost to his name. He needs to be careful how he runs this show as Stake off the wall. Tries to bounce it back. Sack once again. Saves it. Keeps score 0-0, but Zamuich spikes it through. Stake kind of flops his offensive. Tries to fake it for Tox. For the win, are none the wiser, and Stake through the air gets goal number 1 for the Canyon.
Okay, so that goal was absolutely insane. First of all, good setup by Tox, but Stake just finds the tightest of tight angles to bang that win in. I want to go back a little bit to how they established that offensive play. They're fast defensive clears down the middle. They like to do these very tight passes near their own goal, very high risk, but because they do it so tight, it's actually a bit safer than you might think, and then they bang that ball straight down so quickly. It's something that the Canyons like to do a lot of the times if they catch defenses kind of rotating at awkward angles. They executed it right there, set up the offense, and eventually you saw Tox break that defensive line and get the goal shot from WA, saved by the top crossbar, who's back in form.
Sek had no idea what to do in that scenario. Tux tries to bounce it in, doesn't quite find the angle. Pete bounced it off, but Steak gets goal number 2 for the Canyon.
Yeah. And this is not the start, I think, for the Winds. We're looking for this defense a bit in shambles, not necessarily because, they don't know what to do, but just because of the sheer amount of tight pressure that the Canyons are putting on them, where a lot of teams are playing a bit further back, playing mid-pitch. The Canyons, they like to play super far forward. They have the speed, they have the mechanics to do that, and you have to play near immaculate defense, otherwise you're going to get burned.
It's not even the near immaculate defense. They just need to clear the ball from their side, and they're not being able to do so because there's just so much pressure that the Canyons are applying that it's really hard to even establish a counterattack. I mean, I'm curious to see how For the Win managed to handle Canyons on the defense.
I mean, we saw it right there. There was 2 members back before they even got anything really going. It's just, that is the benefit of being that faster team. You're always going to have a car there, and beating a faster team, either you have to do trickery or just get a 50-50 or 2 to go your way. And right now, none of the 50-50s are even going in favor For the Win. This has just been complete Canyon dominance thus far.
Absolutely. Peep now tries to center the ball. Sek collides with Steak midair to try to clear the ball, which puts it in a prime position to go back on the offense for the Canyons. Bucks already, but Peep and Bruno trying to establish themselves in the midfield, trying to get some presence in, trying to get the right positioning. But Zamue off the back wall, gets it in. Tox shoots it in the general direction. Zamue tries to rebound it, but doesn't quite find the angle, and neither does Zamue. And this leaves an open field for the Win to drive it into the base of the Canyons.
Oh. Steak just able to muscle, however, the attacking force off the ball. He does set up a bit of a clear pass back to the middle to Tox. I like these pass plays coming from For the Win right now. They're going to try and mix up their attacks. However, the pass play did require all 3 members. Fortunately, Peep able to get back on defense, but they're mixing up, their offensive attacks. They're trying to different things to maybe break some of these offensive rotations, and they're finding marginal gains each time they try something different, but they still haven't found that answer to actually get that opening goal. Steal away from Zamue will make it a 3-0 game, and that might be enough for the Canyons to take this first one.
Might be 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. You do see the Canyons, every time they're defending, they're committing all 3 members on that defense to make sure that they bounce the ball far and deep into the corners of For the Win side of the field. And For the Win, they're just one-manning, they're trying to one-man this defense. And the offense, these don't seem to be taking enough risks to actually make it worth their while.
Yeah, that does feel to be a bit of the case right now. And it's not necessarily that the offense isn't taking enough risks. It's just they haven't been able to really get those key touches. There's always 2 members back by the time they get down there. It's just sheer speed. However, that's an awkward situation. Steak able to get the height, the fall through from Peep, not able to beat out Tox. Canyons yet again a bit too fast. They still haven't cleared it out just yet, although I imagine Steak's going to be able to do so. Gets a demo on Sack as well, but Peep turning things right back around. Peep is on his own. He's trying to slow it down, but his teammates weren't there yet, so the corner play probably not the right one. It does lead into a counterattack coming from the Canyons. Zamue's shot a little bit wide to the right.
They're taking the shots. That's the thing, though. They're having so many openings to actually go for these shots on For the Win's goal. It's actually surprising to see that For the Win are not being able to keep up with their speed. They're trying. They really are trying to speed up their gameplay, but 3-0 on the board and 30 seconds left. For the Win are running out of room to breathe here to at least get something in the net of the Canyons.
Yeah, they're definitely running out of time and space. Zach is going to be able to muscle it through, however, does get that solo play. And it's kind of like what I said before, when you're against a faster team, sometimes you're going to have to get a solo play, go your way. Zach able to do that against Steak, who tried to pinch it, actually get the dunk off of Zach. He was hoping to pinch the ball off the car and actually launch it towards the opposing goal. He was being pretty cheeky with that one, so that was a really risky sort of clear attempt, and it's not one that's going to benefit them. So kind of gifted that goal to Sack right there just by going for the high-risk play, but either way, it will still be a Canyons victory.
It will be game 1 for the Canyons. Nice performance by both of these teams, but the Canyons clearly the superior team in game number 1. A couple of mistakes that need to be corrected here For the Win. Needs to take bigger risks if they want to get bigger rewards. And their one goal was basically Sack just plowing through the backline of the Canyons, and he succeeded, but it felt like more of a misplay from the Canyons than an actual good mechanical play from For the Win, to be honest.
Yeah, it was exactly that. That goal probably should not have been scored, but, it was kind of in dead time, some empty calories, as Shannon Sharp would say. So It's good for the win to get that goal. I'm not going to put too much weight behind it. What I am going to put weight on was the few opportunities that for the wins had to score goals. It came from passing plays on their own side of the pitch, and those are kind of those risks that I want to see them take. We saw Canyons actually take similar risks and pull it off and score goals as well and get offensive pressure or establish offensive rotations through that as well. And I want to see for the win almost mimic that. Get some tight passes on your own side of the pitch. Yes, they're high risk, but you're going to need to do that if you're going to beat out the Canyons. You're going to need to throw them off balance in some facet. And sometimes tight, sketchy passes are the way to do just that.
Absolutely. Not only because, well, I mean, they're tight passes, but also because the Canadians probably won't be expecting for the win to go for these higher risks or these higher risk plays, to be honest. Now, game number 2 is about to go live regardless. Canadians are still going to be on the blue side. The for the win is still going to be on the orange side. 1-0. Very similar to what happened yesterday between for the win and Super Mode, where for the win took 3-1, the 3-1 victory.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's still plenty of time for that comeback to happen. Sack with possession of the ball. Talk's going to challenge him, but Sack able to hold on at least for now. So the kickoff, I'd say, actually going in favor of for the win. Sack, again, trying to go for that solo play, but this time he gets demoed from behind, and Bruno, not feeling confident enough to try and push forward, actually goes back on defense, but that hesitation will establish an Canyon attack. Here comes a shot from Zemue. It's going down at a missile speed, and that's going to be a 1-0 scoreline for Canyons.
What a huge goal coming in from the Canyons. Talk set it up for him after rebounding it off of Sack, and he just spikes it in, attempted a defense from for the win, but he was just not in a prime position to clear out that ball.
I just realized something. Our last series didn't have an own goal, but I mean, that's the own goal for this series right here. Again, it was a forced own goal because of that missile shot from Zemue, but last series didn't have one. I think we're going to have to like find Super Mode something for not having a known goal in their series. Either way, though, 4:22 remaining. Another shot on target from Steak, a follow through from Zemue, neither of which are going to be able to crack the defense, as Bruno came up quite huge in that one.
Oh, Bruno's all alone in the base, unless Tox manages to clear it out. He does. It's up to the Peep to try to get something, but he misses a double jump. He has no boost to himself. He needs to go for a run on the boost, but look at him. Tox again, prime on a defense, fakes it for Bruno, hops it over the wall, but Steak is there for the defense.
So Peep tried to pre-jump a bump attempt right there, as opposed to waiting for Tox to jump himself. And as a result, Tox was still in position to make that save. I liked that attempt, but at the end of the day, because it doesn't work, the counterattack from the Canyons is again going to be too fast, and we're looking at a 2-0 score line.
And I mean, the triple commit was there. You had for the win trying very, very desperately to clear the ball as fast as they could, very hard. But unfortunately, that's the risk you take when you commit 3 members to clearing the ball. You have nobody left on the defense. You have nobody covering the other players of the opposing team.
Yeah, it's so risky, but I feel like that's what For the Win is going to have to do if they're going to get anything going for them right now. Because if they try to go pound for pound with Canyons, they might just wind up a little bit short time and time again. Steak now looking to establish perhaps a third goal for the Canyons. Is going to clear it to the orange side. Zemue going to challenge. Actually does beat out Bruno. Talks immediately there. And this is why we say the Canyons are the faster team. Every time that ball is kind of lost in possession, rolling around in no man's land, the Canyons are going to be the first one to get their sack. Nice little demo, trying to make a power play. Pass to Peep, intercepted by Steak.
That's cool.
Throw it right back to Zemue, and that should have been a goal, but Zemue was unable to get the touch.
That would have been very, very clean on the counter play. They were not ready for it, though. Toxic tries to get the touch on the ball, doesn't quite find it, but forces Bruno to overshoot that ball. Now it's Sack and Bruno on the defense yet again as Pete tries to struggle back into their side of the field. Bruno is airborne, freestyle on his way into the goal.
Pinch.
Touch from Sack. They get a pinch, but they don't get the score because Steak has been well positioned.
Yeah, I mean, every time we see For the Win get actually a pretty hard shot, there's a defender there able to make a save, and because we're seeing For the Win just put so many resources in trying to even get these opportunities, the second they miss them, Canyons are going to strike back twice as hard. Steak this time punching it straight through the middle after yet another down the middle clear. 3-0 scoreline right now. Canyons playing their style of game, and they're looking unstoppable at the moment.
Yes, they are. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. Canyons seem untouchable this game, or this series so far. Sack tries to get a corner shot. It bounces off both corners. That's unfortunate for the orange team. As another counter play comes in from the Canyons. They establish control on the side of For the Win. A full control of the ball so far. For them desperately try to bounce the ball back into the side of the Canyons. They retain control. They get a bump. Tox is airborne. setting it up for Zamue. Touch to the center field is all that they need. For the Win is setting up a very, very good defense. However, Stack manages to clear it out. But Stake keeps up the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing, slower pace at the moment as the Canyons just unable to get that ball out of that corner jam, and it does look as if it will lead to a counterattack. Bruno gets the bump, follow-up shot from Peep is good, and we're looking at a 3-1 scoreline, the first proper goal scored by For the Win this series.
Look at Bruno, he gets the bounce reset off the ball, upside down, sets it up for Peep. They try to pinch it, but they don't even need to pinch it. They just need Peep to bump it in the right direction.
Yeah, so For the Win, get themselves on the board, just under 2 minutes remaining, plenty of time for a couple quick goals perhaps, but not if the Canyons get some early pressure down. Bruno going for a ceiling clear right now, actually does get the distance behind it, ball continuing to roll towards the blue side of the pitch, but Stake, once again, the first one to get to the ball in no man's land, something he's been doing consistently throughout this series.
1 minute 30 seconds left, Zamue sets up the ball, but there's nobody there to receive it as Bruno. Double commit here from Stake and Tox to try to make a tandem play, but Tox is not in a good position, and neither is Zamue.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so hard at times for the Win to get themselves out of their own side of the pitch. Here's where I want to see those passes, but Bruno instead doing it himself solo. You got the bump coming from Sack. He does touch one defender, but it's Stake able to recover after getting bumped off the play.
Hey, they broke Rule 1.
They broke Rule 1. I think they both broke it. They each seemed to jump at the same time, so I'm not going to be able to flame either of these players out. 45 seconds remaining, still a 2-goal difference. Yeah, exactly. They both are failures in my eyes, especially if no goals are going to be scored as a result. There's no need to break that up.
No, absolutely not. But now still, the Canyons are putting up a lot of pressure here again on the offense, and it's going to be Stake off the wall, airborne to get the 4th goal for the Canyons.
Stake, my goodness, just banging that one straight down the middle. You can see Sack trying to get to that other side desperately, but unable to recover. 4-1 scoreline, 3 goals in 31 seconds. I'm not feeling it, not today. I'm pretty sure the Canyons have game number 2.
Could have game number 2 here, and they'll still put them in match points. Well, let's see if they can actually get something else done. 17 seconds left on the clock. Game number 2 is pretty much dead in the water right now, as they can still retain an offensive positioning here. 3 members from For the Win commit to the ball. Neither of them can catch it. 5-1. 6 seconds left. Final nail in For the Win's coffin for game number 2. So go next kind of situation going on here.
Yeah, it's looking like it. I don't know how that ball was able to drop down with all 3 members of For the Win in the box. Definitely time to go next, but we still have one more goal to potentially be scored. 6 seconds remaining. I would like to see it go For the Win's way, a similar fashion that we saw in that first game, but that's not going to be the case. In fact, that shot was nearly scored by the Canyons right there, as they are going to take a very comfortable victory in game number 2, similar to game number 1. Canyons just playing a level above For the Win right now. For the Win constantly on defense, constantly struggling to get it past the middle of the pitch. The Canyons offensive rotation, too aggressive, too consistent, too clean for the Win to handle.
Yep. Bruno and Peep are going to change cars.
Oh.
What does this mean? Yes, they are. What does this mean?
Ooh.
I have no idea. But
Ooh.
this is the. I mean, they just like the motivation. I noticed that. I believe it was Sack who was packing the red and green car. Very Christmassy. Very, very Christmassy. And did not work out for him. I think it was the debut of his or a red and green car. Did not work out for him. It's not Christmas time. So it's now up to Peep and Bruno to try to change it up a little bit.
Are you sure that's not representative of the Portuguese flag? Are you sure it's Christmas?
Pretty sure it's, I don't know. It looked Christmas. The yellow is missing, so I'm going to call it Christmas.
Okay. You know what? That's completely fair right there. But yeah, Sack. I mean, definitely a bit of a struggle for the Win. Again, they just weren't able to get some of those clears past mid-pitch. And I know that's not necessarily deepest of analysis, but it's just all the Canyons have had to do to hold on to this game was just not, give up any offensive plays against For the Win. I suppose just keep the rotations coming, keep them tight, keep them aggressive. For the Win, constantly on the back foot, never able to really punch through. Again, I wanted to see more pass plays come from this side, but in that game, there was just never really any opportunities for them. So Canyons definitely dominating the series right now, and it's going to take something very special from For the Win in this game number 3 to start to bring it back. And I mean, I know
Ah,
some people are thinking, "Ooh, reverse sweep, how amazing, how crazy would that be?" Well, it's going to be pretty crazy if they even take one game with the way how they're playing, let alone
it's
3.
true.
So let's take things one step at a time.
The thing is, you don't even see. I don't think that this is the Canyons' final form. I've
No.
seen games from the Canyons that have looked a lot more dominant than what these are looking like. What I'm seeing in this specific series is the Canyons is putting up so much pressure. Not This is just unrelentless amounts of pressure that is forcing For the Win to play overly defensive and just overall get exhausted in their own half of the field. Cannons aren't
Yeah.
really putting up a lot of technical plays, a lot of rebounds, a lot of double touches. They're playing it super aggressive, getting the ball always in the corners For the Win, and just capitalizing off of For the Win's overcommitments.
I just had a scary realization.
That
We haven't seen Canyons play in Fusion yet, and we're talking about, like, constant pressure being put down
oh
and how
boy,
For the Win is just kind of barely hanging on, if at all. That's a matchup I'm scared to see. We don't see that, though, till May 31st, by the way, so, you'll have to
it's
wait
right
till then.
next week, my dude.
Yeah, it's next Sunday, so that's a fun one for next week, but not one for today, not one we need to worry about right now. What we need to worry about right now is For the Win and Canyons.
Bajoom!
Game number 3, I believe we're gonna be kicking off very, very soon. I'm hoping
Yes.
we're gonna be kicking off very soon because it's been a very quick afternoon, evening so far, or morning, depending where you're at in
Yeah.
this world.
3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and now we have a 2-0 on the board. Match point for the Canyons, and
Uh-oh.
anything can
All right.
happen.
Oh, here we anything can happen. All right, it looks like everyone's here, so we are gonna be kicking this bad boy off. Game number 3, here we go.
Here we go. Game number 3 could be match. It is actually. It is match point for the Canyons, but there's still room for the reverse sweep For the Win. Get it going. Let's see now. Sack is still airborne, back in the Portuguese flag / Christmas car. And if you see, go. Oh, okay.
Here
All
we
right.
go For the Win. They're not done yet. Much more aggressive positioning. You could see, I believe that was Sack in the face of Steak, who was trying to get the clear. And as a result, it's sort of an awkward touch. And Bruno is there to punish. A lot more aggressive down the field play coming from For the Win immediately in this third game. And that's the sort of mix up that I wanted to see from them. Let's see if they continue with it. Bruno has a chance. Steak trying to race back on defense will be able to get around it. But a lot of orange cars right now on the blue side of the pitch.
True. They're putting up a lot of pressure, but immediately Zamuade tries to retrieve back pressure to his own side of the map. State goes for a clean shot, and 2 members aren't enough to For the Win to stop that bullet.
98 kilometers per hour, but that ball was still moving on an upward trajectory when it went into that goal, as you can see right there. Okay, maybe it just was starting to curve back down. Either way, an excellent shot coming from the Canyons in this one to tie this up just when you thought For the Wins maybe could pull off another one of those 1-0 miracle games. It's taken away within the first minute.
Sack helps up on the offense this time around. Tox keeps the ball airborne as Bruno manages to bump it in the right direction. Octane from Peep now as he goes for the purple wheels as well.
Ooh.
But doesn't have enough air to actually keep it airborne For the Win. Ball bounces back. It's back on the offense for the orange side. Bruno, airborne, tries to get a play going, but it doesn't have enough distance. Yes, he does! But nobody's there to get the second shot.
Yeah, good stealing setup, but unfortunately not quite accurate with it. Bruno, though, still playing with his foot. It feels like goes for the ground pinch, but doesn't have the speed, despite the fact that it looked like that was Peep going for the bump. Sorry, that wasn't Peep. That was Sack going for the bumps right there. Unfortunately, the pinch doesn't come through. Sack, though, still trying to keep some offensive pressure down, and For the Win. They're playing so much farther forward. However, Bruno just kind of flips himself in no man's land, leaving Peep on his own. Tries to recover, does get the touch. Second man, though, the shot from Talk off that crossbar. Zamue is challenged and loses by Bruno, and Sack needs to get the bang, is able to do so.
Peep needs to get the heck out of that goal because he has no boost whatsoever. So they have to go for the corner shot. Sack keeps it airborne, favorable to For the Win. They try to go for the play, but Steak is the one that cuts it off and gets it rolling. Ooh. But not to the right side. Zamue needs to get out of the goal and set it properly. Bruno on his own box tries to set it away from the Canyons. A lot tighter game coming in from both teams.
Yeah,
as the Canyons need to be feeling the pressure right now.
Absolutely, and I'm loving these title rotations coming from For the Win, and I'm kind of wondering, where were they in games number 1 and 2? Perhaps it's the pressure that's kind of awakened the For the Win beast right now. Sack from the corner, trying to pass it back to Peep, gets a good touch, he'll go up for it, but Tox already had that height. It was a good backboard read, and thus he's going to try and push it forward. Bruno going to try and slow him down. When's he going to touch the ball? It's going to be a bit delayed. We'll be able to get the corner boost. Is going to try to follow through. Defense racing back, but Bruno loses possession of the ball.
Just shy of that possession, and it gives a clean goal over to Zamue to get the upper hand over to the Canyons. One misplay from the star player For the Win costed them a goal the Canyons were not afraid to capitalize on.
I feel like we actually are seeing nerves coming into play from For the Win. They're doing the right thing, and these are plays that they've been able to execute in the past, but they're struggling to execute it now, and I think they might be a little bit surprised with the amount of success these tighter rotations are having against this Canyons team. I still feel that this is completely winnable for this orange side if they continue to play at the pace that they're at. They will have more opportunities. Bruno trying to make one right now is Demue, though. What a touch, just finding that little gap in the offensive rotation, and the Canyons are looking to exploit it. Here comes Steak going for the reset, but is stopped momentarily by Sack. Tox with the follow through will get that goal, and now the Canyons are starting to run away with this game.
Actually, very, very well played by Steak there. Gets the reset airborne and sets it up perfectly for Tox. 3 members of For the Win were on that box, but all of them were inside looking for the proper positioning and trying to find the way to defend that ball. None of them could actually find it.
Yeah, no one was able to find the ball in that instance. Tox looking for the ceiling shot, actually doesn't connect, and no one behind him to like use it. Oh no, I was faking as an excuse. Demue instead falling back on defense right now is challenged by Bruno, but Steak will be the first one to recover, trying to set up Tox right now. A bit of a breakaway because everyone on For the Win are desperate for that goal. Finally, Demue puts the shot on target, but the save is made. Bruno pushing out of the box, but Sack will get there first, and here comes that counterattack. Bruno putting something towards the goal. Steak slowing the pace down, keeping the ball in the air. Who's going to go up for it? It's going to be Peep, but it's a triple commit from the Canyons, and it actually works this time around. Demue looking to set up the rest of his team, but no one there to follow it through.
Nobody there to follow it through, but Sack managed to keep the ball rolling in favor of For the Win immediately. Tox seems to be the one player to look at this series as he's collecting ball after ball after ball and cleaning scraps after his team misses. But now, For the Win back on the offense, bounce the ball center field. Will Peep be enough to get there? No, it bounces off the crossbar. Not enough distance covered and not enough angle coming in from For the Win to actually secure that goal.
Oh, waterfall set up right there, but no one from For the Win able to follow it through. Good clear. I believe that was Tox. Peep going for the reset, but doesn't have the time to pull it off as it's stolen away from Tox. Good defensive positioning from Sack, trying to turn things around, but no one there to follow it through. Means the Canyons will continue to push forward, and with 40 seconds remaining For the Win, they're running out of time.
Oh, and they're running it down mid. Bruno gets the demo, keeps control of the ball, and gets a score For the Win. 3-2, 30 seconds left.
For the Win, again, I'm loving these tight rotations. I love them taking it to the Canyons. I wish they had started doing this a little bit sooner, because the Canyons are just players like anyone else. You can play tight against them. If you hit your marks, you can beat them playing in this facet. 30 seconds remaining For the Win. They're still looking for one more goal, but they cannot afford to give anything else up.
And right now, they're giving up a lot of pressure as the ball is airborne, but favorable to the Canyons. Peep retains control of the ball. It's leading it. He's leading it through the center field. Doesn't pass it to anyone. Tries to score by himself, but the Canyons manage to take it back. Now, Sack defends it. 10 seconds left. Bruno, will they get the overtime? The ball is still airborne for another 5 seconds. Peep is airborne. Bruno gets the bounce in. He gets the score. 1 second off. 3-3.
Oh my goodness, I think the Canyons thought the same thing I was thinking, and it was going to be a setup to Sack, but no, Bruno does it himself, just barely able to beat out Steak, and with 1 second remaining For the Win, they're going straight back to their tried and true wheelhouse, the overtime.
It wouldn't be a For the Win series if there wouldn't be an overtime, and looks like they're going right into the offense. It is overtime, boys. 1 second, here we go. First touch is going to come over from the side of the Canyons, and they gain control. Ball is on For the Win's courts.
Oh, but here comes the Canyons. They're not able to really follow it through just yet. Stake with possession, trying to drop it down perhaps on the orange side of the pitch, but Bruno is going to push forward. Now, what I want to see from For the Win is more of these tight rotations. Don't change up your play just because you're in this sudden death, do or die overtime. Keep doing what's been working for you. Stake, however, is able to get a big bang down. Bruno's going to catch it, but he's going to be challenged by Zimbabwe, who will punch it in. And the Canyons, they crush dreams. They win the series 3-0 in an overtime.
Ah, man, the overtime were For the Win are meant to thrive. This was basically For the Win. They got it out, but somehow the Canyons, in this case Samuel, catch the rebound and find the goal right off of the For the Win's attempt at a counterattack. Very, very well played by the Canyons. They maintain the idea that they are the dominant team, and they are still undefeated in the Iberian League.
Yeah, I mean, look, today was the day of last second goals into heartbreak. It feels like so many of our overtimes where, the team coming back, getting that goal in the final dying seconds of a game only to completely collapse immediately in overtime. But it's Rocket League. It happens at times. And I don't want to take anything away from the Canyons. They really did deserve to win this series. A complete dominating performance from start to finish. Credit to For the Win. They tried to fight back. I think if they had played that sort of tighter style a little bit earlier in the series, we would have seen a closer one. We would have seen two just games of Canyons running away with it. But I digress. We did see a lot of For the Win, what they can do, what they're capable of. Yeah. And I think that game 3 should be a wake-up call for them moving forward, should they ever get a rematch with a team like the Canyons again.
It's true. I mean, then again, we barely saw the Canyons budging away from what they considered to be, or from what we considered them to be, the dominant team. So Canyons were always under pressure. They always had the pedal to the metal. They didn't try for fancy plays. They just played on For the Win's mistakes. And For the Win's biggest mistake, I guess it's not necessarily a mistake, but it is something that we've pointed out, which is For the Win being an overly defensive team. They played really well on defensive. From day one, we've mentioned that For the Win are really good on the defensive. And the Canyons, well, they just capitalized on this, and they kept pressuring and pressuring and pressuring. They found the openings where For the Win overcommitted, and they capitalized on them.
And it's kind of like what Gooch said in the interview before. Look, if you want to beat the Canyons, you need to attack them. And it felt like in games 1 and 2, For the Win strategy was maybe let's outlast this attack and find a window to find a counterattack. Let's not actually try to establish our own plays. Yeah. Let's not be proactive with it. Let's be reactive. And the reactive gameplay just did not work for him. That said, I do believe we have an interview.
Yes, we do. It's going to be with Stake. He's ready and waiting for us to ask questions to the player of the Canyons. So let's have him brought in, so that we can know how he's feeling after completing the day with a 3-0 win against For the Win. How are you doing, Steak?
Hello.
All right, so 3-0 win against For the Win. A lot of pressure. I mean, impressive performance by your team. So does this mean that you're officially the strongest team in the league?
I think we had no pressure because I knew we were a better team. Like, I know they're good, but I don't know. We just had confidence and we played good.
So, I mean, it's good that you still had that confidence, but at that same token, did you have an extra layer maybe of respect for this For the Win side after they did pull off that upset against Super Mode? Was there kind of like, okay, we need to take this team, like this series, 100% full strength because they can pull off upsets?
Yeah, like after we saw that they beat Super Mode, we just started playing focused instead of just trolling. And yeah, we just get the win.
Very good. I mean, 3-0 victory. This last game, however, you went into overtime. Was this did you expect For the Win to come out swinging that hard, or did you have everything under control all the same?
I think we had everything under control. We knew they had the option to score, to get the draw and go to overtime, but then on the overtime we said, okay, let's win, and we just focused on the score.
Why can't I do that in my ranked games? Why can't I just be like, all right, let's win, and then just will my team to victory? I'm very jealous of that ability. Okay, very true. But looking forward right now, obviously the last undefeated team in this Iberian League, coming off of some other pretty big tournament wins as well. Everything seems to be going your guys' way at this moment. Does this momentum slow? Does this momentum stop? Or is it just we're just running through everyone for the rest of the year? 2020 is now year of the Canyons.
Like we we have like the momentum that we come like for like we started losing like the promotion tournament in ROCS, and after it we knew like we needed to play another season, but the motivation was here anyway because there was still spring series, Iberian League, Red Bull, like different tourneys. But now
Mhm.
after this week finished, like there is a long time of season, so I hope the momentum keeps going.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I hope you continue to show that momentum right here in this league because we want you to keep playing at that high level, carry it over to more various tournaments as well once the Iberian League does finish. I am a little bit of fanboy of the Canyons, I'm not going to lie. So,
Wow.
congrats on your victory.
Thank you.
I'm a fan of all the teams in this
Hey
group.
man, we're having a good time here. I'm a fan of We the Boss. They haven't won a single game yet, but hey, one can dream. You know what they say. That being said, however, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you joining us this afternoon. But that's gonna be it from us. So from myself, Max, and everybody behind the scenes in the production crew, we appreciate your preference. We hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week on Saturday. See you then.